I guess you could say I'm a bit of an expert when it comes to hooking. Z-Man products. What did you guys think I meant? Oh, you're so naughty. Alright, so I'm going to do a three-part video series talking about how I like to rig my Z-Man baits, and going to go over the selection of hooks that I use, kind of for your popular bass techniques out there, what I'd recommend through trial and error I found is the best way to go to be more efficient out on the water. I'm going to do another video coming up soon talking about why I use Z-Man products for soft plastics almost exclusively. That's going to be in a separate video. So before we get too far down the rabbit hole, you know, talking about hooks, I do want to just go into a little bit of detail about Elaztech if you're not familiar with it. This stuff is incredible. The stretchiness this stuff has, as you can see right there, is really unbelievable. It makes it incredibly durable. You know, you can get through a whole season on one package of baits. The downside is that durability also makes it difficult to rig. So I've seen, you know, on message boards, reviews, things like that, you'll see people complain about rigging Elaztech. And frankly, I think a lot of that is just due to people not spending time with the baits, and not spending the money and the time to figure out what equipment they're going to need to go along with it. So that's really what this series of videos is going to be. It's going to be a three-part series. I'm going to talk about swim baits and flukes next, and then I'm going to get into kind of some specialized techniques and equipment for that. But we're going to start off here with anything that basically is going to be unweighted. So this is going to include finesse applications, drop shot, heavy cover applications where you're going to be Texas rigging, that type of thing. Okay, so the first place we're going to start here is we're going to start talking about you know, your finesse applications, and this is where you're going to want to have a finesse application that's rigged weedless, or excuse me, rigged weedless. And so here I've got a hula sticks, which is considered to be a fine Ned rigging bait. And you know, if you wanted to rig this, like say for instance with a tiny child rig, what I would recommend starting with would be something like the Mustad grip pin series here. This is an extra wide gap hook. I've got this already rigged on the bait, as you can see there. And so that's going to give you plenty of extra room, you know, to clear the plastic on a hook set. You know, it's still a fine wire hook, as you can see there. So it's going to be able to, you know, probably be set on lighter line. You know, the big thing about these hooks, as you can see right there, is that conical point it's got. And what that does is that helps keep the bait, as you can see right here, from wanting to slip down the hook. And that's going to be your biggest problem with rigging Elaztech stuff, is that it's going to want to slip down the hook. Now with that little conical piece in place right there, you're going to be fine. You're not going to have to worry about that. And you're going to see throughout this video, really the hooks that I highlight all have some type of like a little keeper system built into it. So again, this is something like you'd use for the tiny child rig. I've got another application over here I'm going to show you, you know, for you know, something like a drop shot where you may want a straight shank hook. I really like both of these hooks right here. As you can see, they're both size 1/0. As you can see on this one, instead of a you know, wire keeper, it's got a monofilament keeper on it. What I'd really recommend this for is if you want to do like some really light Texas rigging, like I say, on really light line, with something like this, which is the 4-inch Z-Man Finesse Wormz, or if you wanted to use this as a drop shot hook, you could do that as well and rig it weedless for drop shot. But both of these hooks right here, the Mustad with the grip pin, and then the Hayabusa with the monofilament keeper, really work well keeping the bait in place. As you can see here, I mean, that thing is just not wanting to come down at all. So excellent little hook for finesse applications. All right, my next selection of hooks is going to be for when you're obviously going to be doing, you know, some heavier duty Texas rigging, or also for unweighted top waters as well. These selection of hooks, I think these 4 hooks, and I'll get into a little more detail, less so with the straight shank flipping hooks here. But definitely with these Mustad hooks, I would highly recommend these Mustads, and these will get you through the majority of what you're going to need for fishing. And in fact, depending on where you are in the country and the type of vegetation you have, this may be all you need. You may not have to invest in any straight shank hooks at all, which really makes things simple. But really the majority of the fishing that I do, you're really going to want like your 3/0 hook right here. This is going to be kind of your main workhorse for most of your applications. And here I'm going to show you, I've got this rigged up on a 5-inch Fattyz. And as you can see right there, that 3/0 hook comes up right in the middle of the egg sac and the bait, right where it's supposed to. Again, that keeper system on there is going to keep that bait absolutely locked in place, and that is going to get most of the fishing done that you're going to need to. Really the only time that I switch out to these straight shank hooks are when vegetation is really thick, and I'm going to show you here with the Pop Shadz. I've got 2 of these rigged up, and like I say, on the flipping hooks, almost every brand of flipping hook out there is going to have some type of a keeper on it, right? It's going to have a pretty aggressive keeper on it, and really I'm not very brand specific on that. As you notice, I had like Gammies for one set of hooks, the 5/0s, and then I have these like 3/0s I just kind of use as well. Whatever floats your boat there, I don't think it matters very much. But let me show you the difference here. So that is a 4-inch Z-Man Pop Shadz that I've got rigged up on that flipping hook. And there I've got the 4-inch Pop Shadz rigged up on this Mustad grip pin EWG. And you can see on that extra wide gap, that definitely has a little more clearance for allowing the plastic to move out of the way on hook sets. The downside is with it though, is I've actually had some situations where that hook shank is extends down underneath the bait far enough that it will catch on things like coontail and hydrilla. So when I'm fishing like the really heavy sloppy stuff, I will switch out to a flipping hook. And this still has enough clearance that you can easily set the hook. It's got enough definitely to come through the bait, as you can see there, and stick them. But if I can get away with it, I'm going to go with the EWG pretty much most of the time. Switching out now, because you'll notice I only carry 2 sizes in these. It's just a 3/0 in the grip pin, the EWG, and then a 3/0 in this flipping hook here as well. And then the other ones that I have here, again, are the Gamakatsu. It's a super heavy cover flipping hook, and then this 5/0 EWG grip pin in the Mustad series. And I'll show you, first of all, we'll start with the grip pin. This is what I'm going to use in that 5/0. This is what I'm going to use when I'm fishing something like, this is the Mag Fattyz right here. This is a 7-inch kind of a stick bait. Great bait, but you can see right there again that 5/0 matches up perfectly to go right through the egg sac area, just generally speaking where you're going to want to hook your baits. But that's going to be pretty much your combination right there. And then again, I'm going to demonstrate with the Pop Shadz here in the 5-inch size and show you what this looks like. Again, there will be times, like I say, if I'm fishing really heavy cover, that here's the EWG, that I'll switch out to the flipping hook, and you can just see the difference in gap there between the two. It's a little more subtle on this 5/0, but it does make a little bit of a difference. Also, if you like going with the Snell knot, if you're a big Snell knot fan, you may want to switch out to the flipping hook as well. But that's really going to be pretty much it. On these applications, I really like to try to keep it simple. I think getting some of those finesse hooks, I'll pull those back out for you, and then getting your 3/0, 5/0 in a flipping and an extra wide gap. And then going back to your finesse, I'd recommend some type of a straight shank there for doing drop shotting, other types of straight shank rigging you want to do. And then going back to an EWG size 1. And so there you go. I think that's going to cover the majority of your weightless needs. Like I say, I'm going to get into weighted hooks and some other specialized rigging in parts 2 and 3 of this series. I just want to thank everybody again for how much the channel's grown. Really appreciate all the support I've gotten, and it's really, for me, kind of taken off. So I still got my giveaway incoming. Going to try to get that finished up maybe this weekend, and assuming it works right this time, I'll get that hopefully given away here within the next couple of weeks. All right, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Bye.